Hey, what's going on, folks? Ty from the Bench Clear Media team, and I am here co-hosting episode number 4 of Inside the Pitch with Michael Rathburn today. So I want to apologize real quick. If you're watching on YouTube today, we had some camera issues on my end, and so we did audio only for the video part. But we do show a lot of charts. We show a lot of interaction with some of the topics that we're talking about, whether it's cars, looking on eBay, showing Instagram profiles. So tune in on YouTube. Even though you're not going to see our faces, you're going to see some other things that'll add to the interactive element for the podcast. But another great show, 45 minutes long. Michael gets us updated on everything happening in the soccer car world. We talk a lot about really the pulse of the soccer card market and where we think things are headed. And there's been some product releases that we cover. Obviously, 2020 Bowman MLS. We talk a little bit about Select Euro and how there's been a pretty substantial pullback on that and kind of where things are headed with some other older releases, like Prism World Cup and some other stickers that are continue to do well in the secondary market. So anyway, enjoy the conversation. Again, if you are newer to the soccer world, this is a great opportunity for you just to consume information. Michael is a wealth of knowledge that I think will help guide and direct you as you enter the soccer car world. And if you're a veteran soccer card collector, then I think you'll also appreciate some of the analysis that we talk through with releases and players and all that good stuff. So enjoy episode 4 of Inside the Pitch. Michael, what's going on, man?
Hey, good morning, Ty.
Good morning. Episode 4, long time coming. My goodness.
Yeah, we're a little bit backed up here, but
life happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, we're recording on a weekend where there's no soccer. They're on break. They've basically been playing a lot of friendlies and qualifiers all week, which has definitely brought some criticism with COVID and guys, going to different countries and getting exposed and things like that. And we have seen a handful of players come down with COVID. So hopefully we don't have any issues moving forward. But, kind of a good time in that the transfer period has ended. We're on a break. And but even though we're on a break from league play, still pay attention to what's going on with any kind of qualifiers or friendlies because, you just never know what player is going to score, 3-4 goals in a game. And so Roberto Firmino put up some numbers last night for Brazil. So that's just something that he's a really good underrated guy that a lot of hardcore soccer players love to collect and buy. And, there's a lot of guys that are in that mid-tier. 6 months ago, we were talking about guys like Raheem Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, as mid-tier guys, and they're not mid-tier anymore. They've kind of reached that. They haven't reached the elite status, but they're in that upper tier of players that have definitely seen their values go up, will continue to go up, and are now popular, whereas before they were really, very cheap.
Interesting. Look at you already throwing out names, already giving people stuff to write down. So let's back up, give kind of a pulse of kind of where we're at with soccer.
Yeah.
Kind of in the midst of seasons, obviously. And
yeah,
nothing.
Well, it's been kind of an interesting start, and that, we've really still been riding the wave of 18 Donruss / Optic, as the two products in one. 1920 Chronicles and the Chrome Bundesliga is really where, and we're still waiting on Champions League. Hopefully it's going to come out in about 5 weeks. That product, the market needs that product in a huge way. But the demand is going to obviously exceed supply, and we're not going to get enough of it. But, we did just have, we'll pop into products. I know I'm hopping around here. So
how do you feel about the market? You feel like, and I think this as
it's settled down a little bit. It certainly peaked when Champions League mid-August concluded. We had about a 3 to 4 week break, and then league started back up again. And I think that What we've seen in that time is, because we're still dealing with the lack of product in the market, just not enough supply to meet demand. People are going to sticker focus is still there, and it's a slow build, but it's getting a lot of momentum. People are just saying, hey, we know that a guy like Camavinga doesn't have a card per se. Now, he may have a collectible card game, whether it's an Adrenaline or, something like that. But we've just seen that stuff's not, it just doesn't hold. Stickers are definitely the way that people are going on a lot of these players, because they just want to get something in hand. We're also starting to see the shift of people buying up 14, 16, and 18 Prism, and now shifting to 03, 04 mega cracks, looking for Ronaldo, Messi, and just unearthing a lot of the older Ronaldo, Messi cards that are going to have more demand. And just, look, the closer you get to a guy's true rookie card is really what we're headed for. So the early Messi stickers, Ronaldo stickers, things like that, even Mbappe, people are starting to really gravitate towards Mbappe sticker instead of his Chrome or his Prism or his Select. So definitely seeing a shift to sticker, and definitely seeing a shift to any actual cards that, came out prior to, and some of the older tops as well. You got, we'll talk about just like early breakouts. The number one breakout player so far this year has been Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is leading everybody in goals. And people were chasing his 19 Prism, but he's got a couple cards in 2017. Topps Premier is really the one that people are looking at. There's another one out there, but that Premier Gold card, it's got I believe a red parallel and a green parallel. Extremely hard to find. And even if you were, the wax is cheap, but you can't find it. So, some of these guys, and he's only 23. So a lot of the older Topps releases, and I think I might have made mention of it in the last show that we did, again, very, very hard to find this wax. It's not like it's going to explode like the Prism and the Donruss.
Yep.
But still, trying to go find these cards just raw is getting difficult. I had bought a couple of DCLs before the season started, and just kind of had them sitting here, and I probably paid like maybe $3 for them. I mean, it's, his stuff was cheap, much like a lot of people. And now they're hitting at $35, $40. So, because again, these guys have one or two rookie cards, their overall inventory of cards as a portfolio is still extremely low. And until the manufacturers can actually catch up, which, is going to be difficult, but, a guy like Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't have that many cards to begin with. So people are going to buy up whatever they can get.
Interesting. So do you see you look at the pipeline of cards coming out, do you see it kind of catching up? And I mean,
it's hard to, right now we can't predict. I mean, we would hope. I went back and I looked at like previous years, like 17, 18, 19, etc. And on average, we've been getting about 10 to 12 products a year between Panini and Topps. So give or take 6, on each side, just for argument's sake.
Yep.
And I told you before, I think like the first show that we did about soccer, it needs to double, and it wouldn't even make a dent in the supply, in the demand flow. It's got to double. And when I say double, I don't mean like, we need a flawless and a national treasure. No, we do not need that. And I told, we talked about this ad nauseum. We need like Donruss, Score, Optic, Topps Base, Stadium. I mean, the hobby does not need these crazy, because we're already seeing mid-tier products like Chrome. That scary thing about it is, dude, a year ago you could buy Chrome Soccer in the $50, $60 range a box. Now they're coming out $300, $400. And it's not going to change because the player pool, I looked at it the other day on FB Ref, Football Reference. Dude, the global player pool for soccer is 17,000 players.
That doesn't even compute. It makes MLB that massive.
And then think about all the kids that are, we talk about the 16, 17, 18, whatever, that we know the hobby is clamoring for. The funny thing about it is they can hold back. They don't need to print cards of all these guys. They don't. They just need to get the major players. They get the major guys. You're not going to see this stuff come down in price because we had in 1920 we had Greenwood, Fati, Holland, Reyna, and I'm leaving guys out, but I'm just trying to like the cream of the crop guys is who I'm really focused on.
Right.
Okay, so who's coming this year? Camavinga, Jude Bellingham, Serginho Dest, and there's more. There's like 6 or 7 guys I could continue to rattle off that don't have a card yet. But those are the big ones. And those guys, let's say they're Chrome cards, or Camavinga wouldn't be Chrome, but let's say he's in Chronicles next year.
Yep.
Let's say he's got a Contenders Chronicles like Fati and Greenwood. It's going to be in that range. It's going to pop at $150 to $200 right from the beginning. Bellingham Chrome is going to be a $100 card right from the beginning. Dest would probably be a Chronicles or another Panini issue, is going to be very expensive, maybe more than either one of those guys because of the USA Barcelona factor. So we've got some big time guys. The pipeline is not drying up for soccer anytime soon. And, I just beg the manufacturers to get some of the product out in the market.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we can dive into some of these products here in a minute. But let me show you a couple things I think are interesting. And we were briefly talking about this beforehand. So I have 3 things I want to show you. One, let's look at, you mentioned sticker volume. So look at the sticker volume. That is sticker only sales. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm showing the chart. That's insane, right? It was basically, it was irrelevant.
Yeah.
November of last year.
And Gary V, brother, 16 months ago was preaching stickers, and it's finally starting to come to fruition.
Yeah. You go from essentially selling 10, 15 stickers a day across eBay in the soccer category to 400 plus a day.
Yeah.
Insane. Yep. But you look at that, and then you look at PSA volume. So again, looking at PSA.
Huge. Yeah, that's a huge indicator. Yep.
Right. Again, there was nothing. There's days that nothing sold in terms of PSA soccer cards. And by, end of September, you're looking at days that went over close to 300.
That number is going to continue to rise, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely a positive trend line. And here's the one we've already looked at together. And this is just overall volume.
Yeah, great stuff.
And this is interesting to me because, it's like any sport right now. It's definitely pulling back.
Right.
But you could argue, like you just said, with soccer, it's probably a supply issue, not.
It's more of a supply issue. That's why people are looking at unearthing the older issues, the stickers. But also, it is related somewhat to a couple of things. One is the release of Contenders early July, and that's when we see a spike in units. Yep. And then that huge spike in the middle of August, which was the conclusion of all the seasons in Champions League. And then we see it come back down and be at levels that were not right around pre-Chronicles. So the crazy thing about, you could argue they could drop 2021 Chronicles in January and February.
Yeah.
Because think about it, that product was delayed heavily. And so let's say they ended up doing Chronicles like early 21.
Yep.
I just rattled off some guys. It would be as strong of a product, if not stronger, than what we just saw. because the huge names that are in play, it would be the first rookie cards for everybody. The demand would be huge. I mean, we've got Chronicles Hobby is around $400 to $450 a box. It came out around the mid 250, 300-ish. A 20/21 Chronicles product would probably come out right at the 400 to 450, if not higher.
Wow.
It wouldn't come out at the 250. It wouldn't. It would be double that probably. Right from the jump.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Oh.
Just thinking about Chronicles and how all of a sudden it's become just a behemoth across.
It's funny that product is perfect for soccer because they can take the leagues and kind of mash them together and just, I mean, like I said, it was my favorite product, my favorite sports product, not just soccer, my favorite sports product in all of 2020. And it's probably, if they do it that way again and maybe even spice it up and get League One in there, then we're really talking about, some serious firepower. So
no kidding. So there was days, I'm just looking at the charts here. There was days where Chronicles was selling 700 plus cards a day on eBay.
Oh, it's an incredible break. Like what's awesome about the product is the uniqueness of hobby and retail.
Yeah.
And that they did it's the blueprint, I think, of moving forward of what these manufacturers should be doing to satisfy hobby and satisfy retail. Is hobby, less base cards, numbered parallels, high-end chase autos, high-end chase parallels, etc. Retail, heavy base, heavy rookies. It doesn't need the autos and the numbered parallel. Soccer doesn't need it for retail. For hobby, absolutely. We still need it in the marketplace. But if they're only going to get 25 Messi autos in a product, keep it for hobby. You're only going to get 25 Ronaldos. You're only going to, Mbappe doesn't sign. Your autographed inventory is going to be short. Keep it for hobby and still crank retail. There's no shortage. And let's face it, we know the print run on Chronicles retail was low because it wasn't like we saw people going to Walmart and Target and loading up a cart. They were getting 6 cellos.
Right.
And then the other retail distribution that went through, the subs or whatever is how people got boxes, but it was few and far between.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point.
I mean, I would love to continue. At this point, I would tell people to buy Chronicles retail and try to get as much as they can to break, because for grading purposes, the Greenwoods, the Fatis, and then the next wave of guys, whether it's Kubo or Torres or Tonali, or there's a second wave of guys that will come. And then there's a third wave of guys that just haven't really even popped yet that will eventually over the next 12 to 18 months. But, from a break and a grading perspective, retail is the way to go.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think that gets me more excited about the idea of grading base and getting stuck holding the bag. Whereas, we talk about baseball and even basketball to a certain extent. You go grade, base Bo Bichette's and base Luis Roberts, like, well, there's 15,000 copies of those.
Yeah.
But soccer is so limited, like you said, it makes perfect sense to go grade.
Yeah, people aren't really sending in the Panini Messi and the prestige Ronaldos. They're sending in the Greenwoods, the Fatis, the Kubos, the Rodrigo.
Yeah.
So,
what's up, Matthew? Making an appearance today again.
Yeah. 5-year-old soccer player. So we'll see his cards maybe in about 10 years.
Hey, at the pace we're going, we might see him next year.
Yeah. Well, I've got a photo. I could make a card probably.
That's funny. Now that's a great point. So if I went and created one of my kid through Topps,
yeah,
Could that be a licensed card someday?
That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool.
So real quick, just perspective, right? We showed this that shows the peak
very cool,
5,000
yeah.
Basketball, just for some point of reference, right? Peaked at about 25,000. And to your point offline, I mean, to think that soccer's at 20% of the volume at peak levels this summer.
I'd love to see
never
compared to baseball. Soccer versus baseball. I think that's really where because I've just felt it. I feel like soccer is very close to taking over baseball.
Wow. You really believe that?
Well, if you go and look at the top 100 most watched baseball cards on a consistent basis, and I do it, 3/4 of it is vintage. And the new stuff, just other than Trout, Tatis, we had that run of Jason Rodriguez, Bowman. But if you look at who's on that list, it's a vintage market. And the demo for vintage is older. So younger people are not buying baseball.
So I'm curious to know what would be your guess in overall volume? So this is all baseball cards per day on eBay. What would be your guess? The peak 25,000 for basketball. Average is around
15,000. Oh, it's a lot higher. Okay, and that's because of
45,000.
Okay, because we got baseball cards going back to 1940.
Very true. The depth.
So if there was a certain way to filter, I would look at like 19. I don't think you can, but I'd be curious what 80, like 1980 to present. I'd be very curious because, like I said, I think around 75% of the cards in the top 100 most watched are vintage, and it's a scary number. It's like it keeps getting worse. During the middle of the season, it was probably like 50-50. Now it's like 75-25. So it's a little bit like it's a little scary if you think about it. There's a black hole period in baseball from like the 2002 until like around the Trout, like that 10-year period there. Like 01. I'm thinking about like when Pujols and Ichiro and Miggy and those guys came up, like right around after those guys came up until the Trout rookie. There's like that 10-year window of dead. It's just a dead period, and not a lot in there. And I think baseball is really hurting from that. And then the new stuff coming out is obviously we've seen Acuna, Soto, and Tatis emerge, but it's not enough. The stars in baseball outside of Trout, it's who sells.
Yeah. So here's a look at only 2018, 19, and 20 baseball.
So it's 50.
It's half. It's about half. Yep. So you're at 40K basically average. You go over here, you're about 20K average over the last year. So yeah, half of it is older than 2018. That's
how much of that is pre-80? That's the thing.
Yeah.
The thing, and the point that I think I'm trying to get at is what I told you. Who's buying what, and older people buy older baseball. That's just what they buy. Younger people buy newer basketball. Yeah. Soccer. That's really where are things headed? Not just today, but where are they headed over the next 12 to 24 months? Because you got to remember what's coming for soccer: Euros, World Cup, Team USA. I mean, just there's a huge momentum wave for the next 2 to 3 years.
That's a great point. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Bowman because it's live. It's shipped from Florida. It's shipped out from Florida, right? And so Florida,
a couple guys. If you look at who's selling it on eBay, a handful of guys that have it in hand, they're from Florida, so it's a 1-day ship. I know where they ship it out of. I used to live close by there. Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, like one complete set went for $350, I believe. Okay. Print run looks to be around 7,000 total packs, I believe it was, which equated to about a 370 to 380 print run on each individual base card. And I did some math, and you should be getting about one numbered parallel per pack is what it should figure out to, give or take. And so let's see over the next week when people get packs in hand and start ripping how it settles out. But it looks like, there is a one-on-one of a guy posted on eBay. There's some packs posted on eBay. I've seen packs posted for 35. Whether or not that's, we'll see where the market's going to settle at. The Aronson actually went for 15. I looked up the actual sale price, which is good. That's a strong number. Yeah. There's your $350 sale. Somebody did do some breaks. We'll see how that plays out. There's your one-on-one. So, it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to be working on like a Google Doc on the checklist for Bowman MLS. I'll put like the player name, the age, and what his current stats are. And maybe we can get sort of like who am I looking for? Who should I buy? Who should I keep? Type of list going for the group. But, 80 rookies, so.
I wonder how these rainbow foils look in.
I know. I think the picture does not do it justice.
I was going to say, yeah.
That's what the first thing I thought about was the picture doesn't do it justice at all.
And please, if you're seeing this and you list a 101, for the love, put a scan at the back. My gosh.
Yeah. That's
not that hard.
Yeah.
Not that hard. It's probably why he hasn't even gotten an offer.
Well, it just got listed, and you see 22 views in the last hour, actually, which is pretty high.
Yes, that's pretty high. Interesting. Okay, so there you go.
But I like it. I mean, I'd be very curious to see. I think I was talking to Filmington about Bowman First Edition baseball.
Yeah,
and what the print run was there. And I forgot what we figured out the percentages were, but I think Bowman was like 5%. I don't remember what exactly we had landed on, but it was a number that was higher than what I would have expected. And I know it sounds low, and it's like, oh, wow, they only made 6,900 packs. That sounds like a very low number, but when you look at it versus Bowman First Edition, I almost think that it probably exceeded Topps expectations.
It'd be great to have them back on to talk about, where did this fall in line of your projections? Because I'm curious to know too. Like a less than 400 print run, is that kind of what they were expecting?
Well, if you think about, look at the numbers on Topps Living UCL, and look at the numbers on Topps Now. Topps Now numbers are very low unless it's a big time rookie card. Yeah. And Topps Living numbers are low versus unless it's a big time release.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was just looking at Bellingham print runs
13,000.
Yeah. My God.
Yeah, Greenwood 12,000. I mean,
yeah. So. That to me is probably one of the most telling signs of the strength of the soccer market. 13,000. I mean, that's insanely high.
Yeah. Well, there's clearly people want rookie cards of the top guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Life, man. Zoom life. Got our kids. Had kids pop in the podcast the other day too.
Yeah.
2012 Select Euro prices are coming down. What's what the heck, man? Is it?
Well, I think timing was bad.
Okay.
I think a lot of us, and me especially, didn't factor in that they didn't have time to get in the younger guys that were named to the teams.
Okay.
And so I just kind of assumed that the guys were going to have cards, and they just don't.
Yeah.
So that's just been the way that
yeah.
So it was grossly overpriced and pumped up by certain companies. One in particular, and they really burned some folks. And it's a product that I've been saying it from day one after I saw the checklist is a $300 to $350 box.
Wow. So you're saying it was priced 105% too high.
Yeah, it was way overpriced.
Wow.
Now, if they had all the players in there that potentially could have been in there, it could have been a $700, $800 box.
Okay.
And the hybrid stuff, I think what they did was, I think they had intentions of retail because they said it.
Yep.
And then maybe they just were not able to get a print run on retail and went with the hybrids. And the hybrids, everybody's saying it's just a ripoff. So I'm not trying to, and again, not discrediting Panini at all. I think they tried to make the best of a situation and get a product out. But the timing of it just, if that had come out at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year, it probably would have been better off. The timing was just really, really bad.
Bummer. Okay. Well, I'm trying to get you some data to look at because this is I do think it's fascinating to look at the prices. Let me send you a screenshot here real quick. This is pretty crazy. While I'm doing that, so you got, I mean, how does this affect some of the stuff coming out in November, like UCL?
I think we know. I think we kind of know that Reyna and Holland will be in there.
Yeah.
And so I think we're good there. I think that product will be fine. You'll have, I mean, you can basically work off of Finest and then add in Reyna. So it should have all the big names in addition to some of the kids. Whether or not they get in anyone else, I doubt it. I don't have any expectations that they're going to add anybody as a surprise, because I think this product, to me, these products have been made and finalized and done.
Yep.
Just that, when can we print and what do we have for autos? So I don't expect anything as a surprise. We still got the 2 museum products to come out from Topps.
Yep.
Again, I think they're going to have to really look at that in 21 and say to ourselves, is it really worth it for us to put out that product for soccer? Because the history of the product is not well. It's not good. And even if they are able to get some of the rookie cards in there, that one pack stuff, it just doesn't carry over. It hasn't done well. We talked about it before. Look, if you're going to line up 2 more releases, I mean, think about what a flagship Topps product would have done right now. What would a stadium club with the stadium, with the photos, if they were to utilize photography for stadium, again, we talked about Bowman, Heritage, there's just some stuff that, they could have put out that probably would have done a lot better. And again, I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about moving forward. I'd like to see more mainstream, mid-tier, base brand products for soccer. We got MLS coming out, which should be interesting. It's a very nice design. MLS coming out probably in another week or 2, I believe. Clean design, nice looking card, and it's affordable. And I've seen it for $100 a box pre-sale.
Wow.
And I think it should do very well. They did release the photos on Bundesliga Chrome for 2021 coming out in March. Fingers crossed. It's not going to look like Topps 21. It's a different design. And to me, as soon as I saw it, anybody that does the Topps Kick app, their digital app for soccer, it's very much influenced by Topps Kick, I believe. And so, yeah, a very different design. Almost does not look like a Topps card, if you ask me. It just looks very different. And so if that product can come out in March, that's going to be huge.
Interesting. So yeah, I'm showing some pictures of Bundesliga Chrome.
Yeah, that does not look like a Topps card. I mean, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying like it's a very different type of design that it does not look like a traditional Topps card.
This, whenever I see the stripes back here, it reminds me of 1819 Prism and the red, white, and blue for basketball. How awful they were, like the barber.
Yeah, that was that was one of the worst. Yeah. So
okay. Huh. Yeah, that releases in March. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to loop back real quick and show you this. So this was Select Euro. You mentioned, so the thin line there is average box price. So you can see here it peaked at about 800. It's right below 800. All the way down. Last couple sold below 400. Yeah,
it's going to continue to drop. Yep.
Yeah. Craziness.
Yep. I think what happened was, again, just we all got caught up in the fever and just assumed that certain players are going to be in there. And when it came down to it, that checklist was made long ago. And that's what happens when you release a checklist a week before the product goes live versus, at least giving us a 2-month ramp up. That's what's going to happen. And people got burned. And so the next time around on a Panini product, people are going to be a little bit hesitant. Prism 2021, maybe that's an exception. But I think moving forward after that, people are going to be very hesitant to say, hey, we want to know who's in there. And if we don't know who's in there, we're just going to wait.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think that this shows the maturity of the soccer card market, right? Yeah. Like you can't just
the cards and the product are phenomenal. The cards are beautiful. They're the best, some of the best looking cards that have been made this year, if not the best.
Okay.
But the lack of players is just, outside of Mbappe, you got some Sancho's in there, Mbappe's in there, João Felix is in there. Outside of that, man, there's a Ronaldo insert. It's pretty lean. It's just not enough in there to hold up that price.
There you go. You're right. I think 300 exactly where it ends up.
Yep. It'd be a 25-30 a pack.
Yeah. Right. What about the dip on Prism World Cup?
Yeah, 14, 16, 18. Look, when soccer popped, those are the first cards that everybody went towards because it was Prism, it had the big names, and people were able to get that product graded pretty quickly at the time. We've seen spikes. We just saw the chart that you put up, the August spike, and then the pullback. The pullback is not the market crashing. The pullback is people going and looking for what I talked about earlier is the older Messi, Ronaldo cards that were produced closer to their rookie. The first year playing soccer. And that's really what's happened. It's just a shift in dollars is really what's happened.
Okay.
And so, the market's fine. It's not, I'm not worried about it at all. It's going to continue to be strong. It's just people are going to keep seeking out those harder issue. I mean, there's a whole lot more Prism out there than there is some of the old, 03, 04 stuff that people are digging out. And that's really what it comes down to. And we've seen some crazy numbers. I don't have it in front of me, but one of the Messis hit $120,000, and I think another card hit like $50,000.
Dang. That's big time money.
Yes.
And money moving into soccer. Big time money. Matthew agrees. That's big time money.
Yep. He's got a Pokemon Card set in his hands.
Nice. Fever. All right, so let's wrap this up with a couple things that I think you mentioned before, just tools to use for research. And I'd love for you to give some advice for those that are kind of itching to find out more about soccer cards. And what are some things that they can be doing?
Yeah, I think you can go find highlights of any player or pretty much any major game. You can find like a condensed highlight package. You don't need to have all the different channels that soccer comes on.
Okay.
YouTube is a great resource for getting video on players. As far as data, the Transfer Market website is a really cool website in that they put a market value on a player of what he's actually worth, which is really cool. It's almost like a rating system similar to FIFA, but it's the entire landscape.
Oh,
so that's really, really cool. And you can do a lot of different queries and searches on Transfer Market to find who are the younger players that have the highest value and things like that. There's a website called Who Scored, and what Who Scored does is they give a player rating for each game, for each player. And so, a guy might have a good game and he gets like an 8 or a 9. And so really, really cool there. FB Ref, if you know about baseball reference, basketball reference, I've talked about it before.
Yep.
Complete database for every single soccer league, player, historical, current, just an insane amount of information, data that, especially when you're trying to track young players and who to look for. And then also, some of my friends on Instagram that will eventually, be guests. Sunday League Investors, guys are out of Florida, Orlando. Really, really sharp group of kids. I say kids, guys. They're really, really sharp. Put out some incredible graphics, incredible information. NP Sports Cards 1, Neum over in England, puts out some great stuff as well. And then also _football_stop is another great resource. All three guys put out great content on Instagram as far as like graphics, data, market, and opinions on soccer in general that are all very strong.
Beautiful. So there's Sunday League Investors.
Yeah, love those guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, they put out some incredible stuff. They reference You Scored, and which is cool. I love how they put a card or a sticker along with what the player did. Yeah, they put out some incredible content.
Do they have a site? No. Okay. Oh, they have a podcast. There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
what's interesting though is, you think about it, everybody had to start somewhere. Look at the amount of followers these guys have, and it's not a knock on them. They don't have these numbers are going to be like add a 0 to the end of their followers, because that's what it's going to be really quick. And these are guys that don't have a huge following right now, but they're going to have a huge following in a very quick way.
Yeah,
very, very quickly, because they're putting out incredible content.
That's awesome. And then there's NP Sports Cards 1. Beautiful. Yeah, it's some good stuff.
Yes. Yeah. He's got that sleeper. He puts out like one sleeper a week. And the Football Stop has, I think, again, 1,300 followers. But look at the stuff that he's putting out.
Great stuff. Yeah. My goodness, I love it. Okay. Yeah, these are great names. This is helpful right here. Okay, cool. Well, I know we have to wrap it up here. Anything you want to talk about upcoming? I know this might be one of my last ones. You're going to have actual soccer experts.
Yeah, once we get, I'd love to get some of those guys on that I just mentioned, because their knowledge would add, huge value to the show. And then just continuing to follow, we've got, let's see what happens with Bowman. Very interested to track that. Who are the players that emerge and what price, what the market does.
Yep.
And especially on unopened packs, I'm very interested to see what the market does with that. Let's hope that we get Chrome mid-November. Let's hope we get Prism mid-December. Prism will be 2021. We haven't seen any designs yet.
Yep.
Hopefully the product will come out and it will not be delayed. And then I'm just really hoping that manufacturers can let's get 2 products, every other week. Let's get a product out for soccer.
Man.
I'd love to see, Europa League needs a product. Like we talked about Liga 1. I know a lot of people are clamoring for some of the younger, the lower level leagues. I don't know if we're there yet, but we're going to get there. And, I'm just hopeful that we can get some product out there, because that's really how the market's going to grow. If we don't have product, the market's not going to grow to where it needs to.
For sure. I mean, back to this, right? We know where it can be.
Exactly.
Know that it can support. I shouldn't say support. We know that the market has an appetite to buy a lot of cards.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is 5,000, card average is the norm next year.
It could be if the product is there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if stickers and other cards need to become popular, then what's interesting, and then I'll leave it with this is, Sergino Dest has that one. I think he has just a 1 sticker, maybe 2.
Yeah.
But he's in Match Attacks 1920, which typically, everybody poo-poos. It's jumped up to $30. And he's got nothing. Now, whether that card will probably crash when he gets a regular card, but I just went through, I had bought a box of Match Attacks just for the heck of it. And I had a couple of them and I put them up and I sold them. So,
yeah,
people are itching. They're itching for a product and they're willing to pay $20-$30 on a Dest, collectible card game card that really, never really sells for anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great point. Awesome. All right, man. Good stuff as always.
All right, man.
Go enjoy your weekend. Thanks,
You
Michael.
too. Have fun.
See ya.